Hello and welcome to the Pro Wrestling Personified Podcast. I'm your host, Louis Carlin, and we are part of the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast Network, and you can follow me on Twitter at PWSOTH. And today we have a very special guest. He's making his second appearance here on the Pro Wrestling Personified Podcast. This next guest has wrestled in Ontario, Quebec, in Japan. Some of the promotions he's wrestled for: Border City Wrestling, C4, IWS, NOAH. Please help me welcome, returning to the show, Sheldon Jean. Sheldon, welcome back, man.
What's up, man? And thank you for having me. Anytime. A lot of fun the last time. Let's do it again.
Absolutely. I just wanted to talk to you about one quick thing. I saw on your social media, we share something in common, actually. We're both huge fans of the Rocky Balboa series.
Are you a Rocky fan?
Oh, huge Rocky fan. I remember, one of the first movies that I ever saw in a theater was Rocky 2. And, I saw the trailer for Creed 2. It looks absolutely amazing. What do you think? Are you looking forward to Creed 2?
I'm really excited for Creed 2. I tell everybody that will listen to me how excited I am for Creed 2.
Yeah.
Rocky's like hands down my favorite movie series. And it's weird because it's before my time for sure.
Okay.
So like, I wasn't there when it was in theaters and stuff. It was just a few years ago. It was when I was moved to Windsor to train. I was just in my room bored one day and I decided to watch all of the Rocky series and I just like fell in love there. So I couldn't imagine what it was like seeing it in theaters because I heard like it was the biggest box office. Like everyone was talking about it. So the fact that you saw Rocky 2 in theaters, that makes me jealous, man.
Well, here's a funny story. My grandmother, I was living in Connecticut. I'm from the States. My grandmother took me to see Rocky 2. And, she initially didn't want to take me because I was 10 years old. She thought it was going to promote violence and she didn't want me to see it. But at the end of the movie, she's on her feet screaming for Rocky to get up. Get up! Get up! Literally on her feet. And when Rocky got up and they announced him the winner, she just screamed and cheered louder than anybody in the theater, man.
Man, everyone was cheering for Rocky, man. Once you watch that movie, the emotions just take you. It's so genuine and real. That movie, those are all-time greats.
Yeah, absolutely love it, man. I hope they make a Creed 3, 4, 5. I hope it never ends.
I hope it never stops.
Yeah, me neither, man. We agree on that, man. So last night, you debuted, Quebec at NSPW, the 10th anniversary show against, Matthew St. Jacques. How did that match go and what was the experience like being on that, debuting for NSPW in Quebec?
It was good. Since I got back, I've heard about NSPW. And me and the promoter had been in contact, so we were just waiting for the right time for it to work for both of us. So it just so happened that yesterday was my debut, and it worked out for both of us. And it was awesome, man. It was a lot of fun. It was my first time ever in Quebec City.
Okay.
Not even wrestling-wise I've been there. I've never been there.
Okay.
And the match was good with Matthew St. Jacques. We've wrestled in tags before, but this one was really good because it was singles, and like I'm more so a singles wrestler. And it was like a mini war. There's a mini war and there's respect between the two of us, so we weren't really aggressive on one another. But it was awesome, really good crowd. I'd definitely go back there. It's pretty far from me, but I'd definitely go back there.
Yeah, and also last Thursday you were also in Quebec against Kevin Blanchard. Do you find any difference between the Quebec crowd and the Ontario crowd?
No. Like I think everybody says that there's a difference between the wrestling. I don't think there's a difference between the wrestling. But as far as the crowds, they're pretty similar. Depends who you're working, what you're doing, besides the language barrier, obviously. But maybe the Quebec crowd's a little bit more rowdier, a little more aggressive and hostile, which is completely fine. But that's the only difference I've noticed.
All right, man. And speaking of another anniversary show, you were at Border City Wrestling's 25th anniversary show, and I had the pleasure of meeting you there. And you came out, you took a picture with me. I really appreciated that. You didn't have to come out, but you showed that you really cared about the fans. You came out, we got a picture together, and I just want to thank you for that, for coming out during intermission and taking that picture with me, man.
No problem, man. Every time, 100%. It's not a big deal for me.
All right, cool. And it was great seeing you for the first time live. And I know I had asked you before the show, a few days before the show, if you're going to be on the show, and you kind of, hinted, maybe I will, maybe I won't. So it was kind of a surprise to seeing you come out, but it was great seeing you live for the first time. What was the feeling going in, knowing that you were going to be part of this huge show that was also an Impact Wrestling one night only event?
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate the words, but it was cool. The same as last time. Even though I've done it before, it was kind of the same pressure. It's a good pressure though. Just a matter of more people are watching my performance. It's going to be shown in 120 different countries. So I knew I had to come correct. And that's my mentality for all my matches, but especially when the stakes are higher. But going into it, like I felt good. I felt healthy. I felt good. Maybe right before, like, it was my time to come out, a little bit of nerves, but it was good nerves. And then once I heard the crowd when I came out, I went blank and went numb, and I just did what I do. But it was a lot of fun. That was one of my favorite BCW moments I've had, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was very happy. I was with a friend of mine. I was very happy when I was like, all right, here comes Sheldon Jean. I wasn't sure if you were going to be on the show or not, but you unfortunately you lost the gauntlet match, and I was actually rooting for you, and I told a friend of mine that I wanted you to win, but he kind of said it's okay because win or lose, you get paid either way. Is that how you feel going in? Win or lose, or do you hope to see that you're going over that night?
No, it doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
Obviously, like, as just a logical person, as a worker, like, I know there's certain situations where it'd make more sense for somebody else to win or for me to win. But at the end of the day, like, it's a job. If the boss or the promoter tells me to do something, I'll do it. And it's not like I'm actually getting kicked out in the UFC or something. It's predetermined, therefore winning and losing doesn't really matter to me. But you're not the only one. A lot of people said that they wanted me to win that match, and even though I didn't win, that made me feel good that I was able to captivate and have people cheering for me the whole time.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed when you got eliminated, so I was pulling for you, man.
That's all good. We'll get him next time. No worries.
Yeah, no, we'll get him next time. Now, I saw on your Facebook page, Scott D'Amore, he praised you on your Facebook page. I don't remember exactly what he said. He responded to one of your posts. Two-part question here. You obviously have a good relationship with Scott D'Amore. Is that fair to say?
Good's a relative term.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, we have a good relationship. He's the one who trained me. He's the one who trained me in Windsor. I was with this guy every day of my life for like 3 of the last 5 years. So whether we want to or not, we're going to get close. And yeah, we have a good, solid relationship. We always joke around. He's also a big Rocky fan, so we talk about Rocky a lot. But it was good to see him and everybody else in Windsor that I haven't seen in a few months. It was good to get back to that family.
Okay, so second part of the question is, you're clearly extremely talented, and I think you would fit in the exhibition tremendously, very, very nicely. What's Scott D'Amore waiting for, man? Well, why? I don't understand. It's just, you clearly have the talent. I mean, you're 23 years old, and look where you are right now. You're traveling all over, Canada, Quebec, Ontario. You've been to Japan. What's Scott and Don Callis waiting for? You belong in the X Division, man.
You're gonna have to get Scott or Don Callis on Pro Wrestling Personified and ask them.
I would love to have him, man.
That's a far more accurate person to ask.
Okay.
With that being said, my job, honestly, I just try to stay as ready as possible, whether that means stretching every day or drinking water or being healthy or wrestling enough. I just try to stay healthy every day because in my mind, inevitably, I will get an opportunity like that, whether it's with Impact or any other company. I'll be grateful for it, but my plan is to just stay as ready as possible for when that day comes. I'm prepared and I'm ready and I don't get caught off guard, any of the sort. Okay. But I do appreciate the words.
Hey, my pleasure, man. Also on the card, and I got to meet him as well, David Arquette was on the card. I know back in 2000, WCW, not too many people, in the locker room were fans of David Arquette, but has times have changed now? Was he accepted in the locker room at Border City Wrestling 25, or were people still?
Yeah, I definitely wasn't around back then, but
okay.
As far as I saw, he was very well accepted. He seemed like such a cool guy. Everyone liked him. Everyone was talking about him. Everyone was vibing well with him. So yeah, he was completely welcome, and I think he enjoyed his experience.
Yeah, no, he that dive off the top rope caught me by surprise. I didn't think he's 47 years old. He's not 23 like you, and that dive off the top rope, I have trouble bending down and picking up a quarter off the floor, and he's jumping off the top ropes. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah, that was impressive as hell. That was one of the biggest pops I've ever seen live, to be honest with you. The crowd lost their mind when he did that dive, so that's cool that he got that moment. I got chills.
Yeah, man. His partner as well, RG City, another person I'm a fan of. Do you watch him? I know he makes coffee every Sunday at 9:30. You don't watch him making coffee in his underwear, do you, by chance?
I do not, but
okay.
I see it on Twitter sometimes.
And I don't know, he just wants to make coffee and something. Border City Wrestling. I just moved down here to Windsor not too long ago. I know they have many young stars on its roster. Aiden Prince, Brent Banks was on the show, El Reverso, Phil Atlas, and of course yourself. Is there a healthy competition between all the young stars to see who would be the best, or is everyone just doing their own thing?
I don't think there's competition. I think all those guys have been around long enough that they're all friends. They're all good. They just like to compete together.
Sure.
And as a whole, make BCW rise. They've been around for a little longer than me. Well, Phil and Reverse have been around way longer than me. But as far as like Aiden and Banks and Abe, they've all been around a little longer than me. And I'm honestly just trying to catch up to them. I just want to be in the conversations with them and get onto their level.
All right. Have you ever gone one-on-one with Aiden Prince? I think that would be a tremendous match.
Me and Aiden always talk about it. Sometimes we'll just message and talk about it, but I've never had a dream match in wrestling. Like, even before I was a wrestler, now, except for versus Aiden Prince, I just think that'd be, outside of us being friends, I think that'd just be a crazy match. A really fun match for us and a fun match for the crowd to watch. And like, I've never had more confidence going into a match that one would be good. So that's my only dream match, but it hasn't happened yet. But it will soon.
Well, I know they have another show coming up December 8th. I'm not sure if it's... do you know if you're on that show yet or not? Or it's too early to tell?
I'm not sure yet. It's early.
Okay, well maybe we'll get Aiden Prince versus yourself on December 8th. But as soon as tickets go on sale, I had such a fun time. I'm going to grab my tickets as soon as they go on sale.
Yeah.
You made quite a few debuts recently, actually. In addition to, NSPW, Destiny, Greektown, and Toronto. It must be a great feeling that promotions they want you on their shows and they're getting you booked. It must be a just tremendous feeling, with all these, debuts that you have been making.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's fun. First impressions are fun. They can be hard to make sometimes, just based off nobody knowing you. Nobody knows what you're about, or it's just their first time seeing you. So like there's an added pressure that I like to be as professional and to do as best as I possibly can. But at the same time, like, I definitely appreciate the opportunities that are being given to me by all those promotions and more promotions. I was gone at this time last year, and I also moved to Windsor and I trained there for 2 years. So I was really like out of the loop when I was in Japan and when I was in Windsor. So now that I'm back here, like in the midst of Ontario and Quebec, there's just so many debuts for me to make because I'm freshly back still, even though it's been a few months now, but still making my way around.
Yeah, and I also read in a recent interview that while you're in contact with U.S. promotions, you're hesitant due to Canadian talent getting flagged at the border. I think you've had a couple of shows in Michigan, but is this a common fear among Canadian talent that they don't want to get flagged or held up at the border?
Yeah, I think all Canadian talent is aware of it. As far as fear, I'm not sure if everyone fears it. A lot of people still make those trips, and some people get flagged, some people don't. But when I got back from Japan, and I saw like the way I wanted my career to go and the way it possibly could go, I made the choice in my head that it's not worth it to try to get across the border and get flagged or get banned, just because if I get flagged now and then the next year I'm afforded an opportunity with a bigger company and I can't go because I'm flagged, I'm going to be mad at myself, and we can't have that. So I'm just going to make the best of my situation over here or in Japan, and then when the time comes and it's legit, I have no problem crossing the border because that's the goal at the end of the day.
All right,
I did used to do the Michigan. I did used to do the Michigan shows really early on. I do remember that.
Okay, now you mentioned Japan, and I know you had your Pro Wrestling Noah jacket on when we had that picture. Is there another Pro Wrestling Noah tour on the horizon for you?
I'm not sure yet. They're really busy, and they're constantly bringing in other talent and stuff, and like working with different companies. So like I feel like I'm kind of on the back burner. Like just a matter of when they contact me. Not so much have a set date yet, but I'm hoping to go back. I'll go back 100%. The first time I was there, I was really new into my career, and I've only been wrestling for 2 years, so I'm still new, but like I was super green then, and I was there to learn, and if I went again, I'd be there to learn, but I feel like this time around, I'd be able to add to the flavor. I could be able to add way more to the show, because I feel like I've improved a lot more, so that's my goal. To go back there at least once and show them what I've got now.
Are there any other Japanese promotions that you have your eye on? I know they have Wrestle One, of course, New Japan Pro Wrestling. Are there any other promotions, or right now you're just a Pro Wrestling Noah guy?
I think as for right now, I'm just a Noah guy.
Okay, and you know, I was reading that wrestling at the Korakuen Hall. The prestigious Korakuen Hall is one of the best places to wrestle and to see a professional wrestling show. What was your opinion on wrestling at Korakuen Hall? Because again, I hear it's a perfect place for a wrestling event.
That's hands down my favorite place I've ever wrestled.
Okay. I'm sorry, you still there?
Got you there. Hello?
Oh, hello?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so there.
I heard the question though.
Okay, so it's one of your best places that you ever wrestled. That's okay, cool. I'm sorry. I thought I lost you there for a second. My apologies, man.
Yeah, it's cool.
So I think I asked you before on the last show, and I'll ask you again. Any chance of seeing the team of you and Cody Hall teaming up again? Whether it's in Pro Wrestling Noah or out of Pro Wrestling Noah?
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, me and Cody still talk on like a monthly basis. Like we're good, and we're both willing to do it again. It's just a matter of when it makes sense and when we're in the same area. If he ever decides to come back to North America, I'm sure it will happen. And if I ever go back to Noah, I'm 100% sure it will happen. So it's just a matter of time and place.
Did you get a chance to meet Scott Hall? Did Scott Hall ever come out there to see you guys?
No, I did not get to see him, unfortunately.
That would be great, man. If he came out there with Kevin Nash and Hogan and NWO run-in, that would have been that would be great. Oh man, that would have been awesome. Maybe you could have joined the NWO. They could have came out there.
I could have joined the NWO. Yeah,
giving you the shit.
It's always been a goal of mine, actually.
Really, to be in the NWO?
No, I'm
kidding.
I'm kidding.
But I could call Scott and I could talk to him if you want. I don't have Scott Hall's number, so I couldn't talk to him. Now I was watching some matches actually on YouTube prior to talking to you today. Two of my favorites actually, I would have to say, my favorite Sheldon Jean matches, Evil Uno and Tony Cage. Definitely among my favorite matches. Who have been some of your favorite opponents this year? Again, that Evil Uno match, I think it was Pro Wrestling Eclipse, if I'm not mistaken. That was a tremendous match.
Yeah, that was kind of on the fly. We didn't really discuss much for that. I drove with Uno yesterday, so like we drive to places. I hop in his car quite a few times. But no, that was a good match. So I enjoyed it. I haven't got a chance to fully watch it. I heard it was on YouTube. I'll probably watch it a little later now that you've mentioned it.
Okay.
One of my favorite opponents, man, you're saying we have good chemistry. I always enjoy those. I got to fight Mike Bailey at a LDDC in Montreal. That was one of my favorite matches. That was a lot of fun. I've had a few multi-mans that I enjoyed. I really just enjoyed this last BCW gauntlet. But I'm kind of blanking here, but they probably come maybe a little bit later. But there's so many that I've enjoyed a lot. And my C4 debut was fun. That was fun.
Yeah, I was looking for the Mike Bailey match. I couldn't find it on YouTube. Not sure if
it's not out yet.
Okay, yeah, that must have been a tremendous match. I know he's incredibly talented, Mike Bailey. So
he's unreal. That guy's a ninja. He's unreal.
Man, you're telling me there's a match against, I saw a match, I think he took on Pentagon Jr. I have to watch that one. That must have been a crazy match.
Wow. Yeah, that must have been nuts.
But, but I'll keep an eye out for your match with Mike Bailey. Now I want to go back to U.S. promotions for a second. I'm sorry. Are there any U.S. promotions that you would like to, work for? Cause I know there's, you got Ring of Honor, you got the Major League Wrestling is starting to make waves. Of course, Impact. Impact is now a Canadian company, but are there any U.S. promotions that, you would love to work for in the future?
Yeah, anyone with like good notoriety. Like I would like to work for AAW. I'd like to work for PWG one day. I'd like to work for Ring of Honor one day. Impact, like an Impact show in the United States. I just want to wrestle for shows that have that like big fight feeling in America when I have the opportunity to go there. So yeah, there's quite a bit.
Yeah, I've been watching Major League Wrestling. I kind of got hooked on it last week, and I was like, wow, Sheldon Jean would be tremendous in this promotion. They have some really good up and coming talent. So hopefully we'll see you in Major League Wrestling one day.
Hopefully one day, man.
And there were two guys actually in Atlantic Canada. I think you would have great matches with. I don't know if you ever thought about it or if you ever heard of them. Markus Burke and Cody Christ. I don't know. I think if you were out there, I think you guys could have some tremendous matches together. Have you ever thought about maybe headed out to Atlantic Canada and seeing what that scene's all about?
It's funny you say that. Marcus and I just talked yesterday and the other day about, going up to the East Coast together to wrestle around there. He wants to help me get out there because that's predominantly where he tours around. Okay. So I'm sure if that were to happen, I would at some point work him. I've worked him in a multi-man one, so it was fun. We didn't do much together, but it was a good. And as far I've never heard of the other guy you mentioned.
Kobe Christ. Yeah, he's
Kobe.
Maritimes champion in UCW.
Oh wait, no. Oh, I think it said Kobe Christ. Yeah. I ran into him once. We've never wrestled. I think he came to train at the school one day, which was cool. He seemed like a cool dude, so maybe we'd have some good chemistry. But I'm 100% with working anywhere. Like I have no restrictions on where I'd wrestle. I'd wrestle anywhere and wrestle anybody. So I'm open to all of that.
All right, man. 2019. Is coming up. We're already in October. What can we expect in 2019 from you?
Same thing now. I plan on being better than I am now, though. But the same mentality. The mentality is not going to change. Work as hard as I can. Try to turn as many heads as I can, and just continue on the path that I'm on. But fingers crossed. I think 2019 is going to be the year. I think it's going to be a good year.
I have a feeling it's going to be a good year as well, for you. Like I said, you're 23 years old and you're already incredibly talented, man. Have you ever worked heel or have you always been a babyface?
Yeah, I've definitely worked heel. I was a heel yesterday. Okay. I'm a heel at C4.
Okay.
I'm a heel at a couple other places in Quebec.
Okay.
I definitely enjoy heel. Being a solo heel is one of my favorite things to do. I just feel like it's more realistic and easier for me to do.
Okay, so you prefer being a heel over a babyface then?
At the beginning, I used to think that, and then I got to the point where I thought being a babyface was better. But now, just recently, I've been healing again, and I'm having a lot of fun doing it. So I'm back and forth, man. I just like wrestling. We'll just say that.
Okay, man. That's fair enough. So, last question here, and then I'll wrap this up. The WWE, it doesn't seem to be the goal of more and more wrestlers, it seems, these days. Some might want to go to New Japan, Ring of Honor, or just be their own bosses and tour the indie scene, which is thriving right now. What is your feeling about that, and what's your ultimate goal in professional wrestling?
Like you said, the indie scene right now is booming more than it ever has been. Even the upper indies, like the Impacts, the Ring of Honors, those type of companies, everybody's thriving and at their best. And like I said, as a fan of wrestling, as a wrestler, I really appreciate that, and I think it's cool. I like it. It's good for all of us to watch and to take part in. With that being said, my goal has never been to be anywhere else but the WWE. So that will forever be my main objective, and I'll continue to work towards it and try to be as prepared as possible.
Okay, what's going to happen? It's going to happen. You're going to get there. I think you'll probably get to NXT first, of course, but then you'll eventually, you'll get up to the main roster, right? With your talent, man, like 2-3 years, you'll definitely be a part of, Triple H will be giving you a phone call in about 2 or 3 years to bring you over to NXT. Just when you get to NXT, don't forget, I had you on the podcast twice, and hopefully, you'll come back when you're working for, NXT and the WWE.
Never, man. I could never forget a Rocky fan. Don't worry.
Okay, man. That sounds good. Well, Sheldon, I just want to thank you so much, man, for joining me today. It was an absolute pleasure. Glad you came back. And anytime you want to come back, man, you're always welcome.
Thank you, man. Much appreciated it, Lewis.
Yeah, when Creed 2 comes out, I'm gonna go see it right away, and I'll get your opinion on that.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, man. Thanks again, man. Well, this has been the Pro Wrestling Personified Podcast. I'm your host, Lewis Carlin. I want to thank my guest, Sheldon Jean, for joining me today. And until next time, thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye. And stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye-bye.